All right, we have more changes unfolding in the U.S. economy and in the U.S. housing market. Changes that have home builders liquidating their housing stock as new homes for sale just spiked. And it's all due to the inventory that we've known these home builders have been hoarding, saving them and rolling them onto the market in like a trickle. But the end of 2023 saw that trickle turn into a flood, folks. As we have the numbers, we'll look at what just happened, what it means for 2024, what it's meant in the past. As when you look back in history, whenever this type of thing happens, when home builders flood the market like this, when months supply reaches these levels, it normally coincides with a recession. But before we get started, press the like button, consider subscribing, share the video with a friend. All of that helps out with the YouTube algorithm. So home builders, folks, we've been looking at new homes under construction for the last year, and we've all known that these big builders are purposefully hoarding new houses, trying to maintain price control, prevent a crash in prices, as market pricing is usually set by home builders, especially in builder-centric markets. If a big builder chooses to cut prices on all their homes by 5%, let's say, because they want to unload them, that's the type of thing that can move the market. Remember this from last year? These are the homes under construction that we've been looking at during 2022 and 2023, the single family units that were under construction all last year, which typically, by the way, takes around 7 months to complete a single family unit. That's the average length of time from when they break ground to that unit moving to a housing completion, from a housing start to a housing completion, around 7 months. Well, look what just happened in the U.S. Census Bureau's latest data dump for new homes for sale. This is the press release that they sent out. Here's what they say. The sales of new single-family houses in November 2023 were at a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 590,000, according to the U.S. Census Bureau and to HUD. So basically, how many new homes they sold in November was 12.2% below the revised October number of 672,000. So it fell from 672,000 to 590,000. That's 12% below October. The median sales price for all of these 590,000 new homes was 434,000. But look at this. How many new houses were for sale at the end of November? 451,000, folks. This represents a staggering 9.2 months supply. You could see it on this chart. Look at the spike in new homes that hit the market in November. And what you'll also notice is what normally happens whenever we see levels like this. You tend to see them match up with recessions. You could see the recessions on this chart. It's the red bar. We have the COVID recession, great financial crisis recession, the dot-com crash, etc. This tends to be the case because builders overbuild during the boom years and they try to unload them before the market busts. So could this be why we saw a massive crash in home prices, in new home prices rather? The median sale price for new homes last month fell to $434,000. That's 12.5% below the peak of the market 1 year prior in October 2022. It's a big fall. But something to keep in mind is all of this data is just for new homes, not existing homes. The number of existing single-family units, single-family homes in America is ridiculous, by the way. I think there's around like 80 million or 82 million or something like that. So we don't have a supply issue in the States. We have an active listing issue. Out of the 82 million existing houses in the U.S., only around 750,000 of them are listed for sale right now, which I'm going to show you in a minute because that's important too. When you look overall at active listings right now, we just broke through a 3-year high, or we just broke to a 3-year high. But first, look how many homes these home builders dumped onto the market, folks. All this is happening in a single month, by the way. That's how quickly month supply can change. In 1 month, in a single month, it jumped from 7.2 to 9.2 months supply. We can actually track this in SnapForce Real Estate Insights. If we pull up the state of California, for instance, and if you use SnapForce, just log in and pull up the state of California. Actually, before we look at these numbers, this is a perfect time to actually mention why I love to partner with today's sponsor, Aura. Look, I'm extremely busy. I use dozens of accounts and passwords, which is why I love using Aura to help everything stay secure. I receive alerts every day notifying me of all the ways that these scammers might be trying to find my passwords or personal information. You'd be shocked at just how many data brokers are out there making a killing selling your information to robocallers and spammers who want to learn your personal information so they could use those details to rip you off. Even just knowing a few pieces of personal information like where you live or your birthday, and they could do some real damage. Well, Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, because these brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it very difficult to do that. Let Aura handle it for you with their software. They make it super easy for you, and you can use their all-in-one password manager, their parental controls, identity theft insurance, antivirus protection, and more. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. This way you're able to focus on the things you want to do and have peace of mind doing it, like finding a good deal, for instance, on a house. And Aura wants your private information protected, which is why they're offering my audience a 14-day free trial. Go to aura.com/RJTalks to get a 14-day free trial. You can also find the link in the description below. All right, so check this out. We're looking at the state of California. And by the way, 80% of the state is peak to trough negative right now. Anything red or pink means home prices are negative in that county. Green's positive. But what we want to look at here is the inventory, right? For example, if we check out SoCal and look at Riverside, California, prices are currently down almost 4% since last year, but there's only 3.6 months supply. Anything over 4.5, and we'll start seeing prices fall. This is important. Take a look at this. A better way actually to see this, if we jump over to the active listings map, this way we can look at the entire country and look at California here. Not one single county has seen listings return to pre-pandemic levels yet. That's what this shows us. All the counties in the country that have more listings today than they did in November 2019. Only a handful of them, folks. All the gray counties that you see, the ones that aren't in color, have less inventory, less active listings rather today than they did pre-bubble. The entire state of California has a lack of active listings, but Texas, on the other hand, has largely surpassed 2019 levels. Take Austin, for example, 5,800 active listings as of the end of November. And back in November 2019, pre-bubble, it only had 4,600 listings, which is why home prices have fallen so much in Texas, the one state that is technically in crash territory. Actually, here's the markets that are crashing right now. Anything down around 15% qualifies, right? Well, here's what we have at present. Not many, but we have some. Largest peak to trough price drops. We have New York County, New York, down 22%. Williamson County, Texas, down 16%. Travis County, Texas, the Austin area, down 15%. Bronx County, down 15%. Cambria County, Pennsylvania, down 14%. San Francisco County, California, down 15%. And that's with the lack of listings. Actually, look at all the California markets that have prices down a lot. Look at all these counties: San Francisco, San Mateo County, Alameda County, Butte County, Contra Costa County, California. 6 of the largest price drops are in California. So imagine what this would look like when we start seeing active listings normalizing here. And if we scroll down a bit more, we can see active listings on a national level just reached a 3-year high. We're now at 752,000 active listings, according to Realtor.com, for November. So we only need about 300,000 more to reach pre-pandemic numbers nationally. When the Fed begins cutting rates this year, which I believe they will, I don't know if they're going to cut in March or in June, but they're most definitely going to cut at some point this year. And when they do, and mortgage rates continue falling, we'll likely see active listings jump. Now, what's the magic number? Is it 6% mortgage rates? Is it 5, 4%? I don't know. Like, what's the number when all the sellers who've been holding back, staying on the sidelines, biding their time until rates fall before listing their homes? Well, in our research database, we have a note from Double Line Capital, the founder of which is Jeffrey Gundlach, which I found pretty interesting the other day. Take a look at this. Their chief investment officer writes this. By the way, if you want access to this or to Snapworks Real Estate Insights to see the maps, I put the link in the description. Or if it's easier for you, just go to rjtalks.com to access everything. He writes this: now, in a twist of irony, I believe lower mortgage rates could actually soften home prices. More affordable financing could incentivize would-be sellers who've been stubbornly locked into 3 to 4% mortgages. There's a magic number, though, for fixed mortgage rates that I think would unfreeze the housing market. In other words, a price bringing together willing buyers and sellers, a market-clearing price. By my sights, the number has a 5% handle. The supply and transaction volume unleashed by mortgage rates in the 5% zone might decrease home prices nationwide or at least flatten them. The effect on home prices also will depend on whether the lower mortgage rate unleashes more buyers or sellers. Another consideration, pent-up demographic demand might lurk out there, overlooked, ready to extend the march to higher prices. That's possible, but it's not my base case, he says. So Double Line Capital says that the magic number is 5%, a 5% mortgage rate. Well, I'll tell you, in all the data that comes into SnapForce, I'm already seeing an uptick in sellers, not an uptick in buyers with these lower rates. And we're only at 6.5%. Only time will tell, but it's a good start to 2024. All right, that wraps up this video. Press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you next time.